Welcome to Third Phase UFO Report. I'm Rich Giordano. Right out of the wormhole onto the digital highway, we have some information for you tonight that is mind-boggling. From the ISS, these objects, nobody knows what they are, where they came from. This new sighting right here that we're going to talk about, Blake and Brent are already going, and a special interview some of you still haven't seen. Let's check in with the boys. They're already going. Here we go.
Get your binoculars?
My binoculars are broken. They're gone.
What happened to them?
I have no clue. See? It's like slowly going away.
A stick?
It just looks like some sort of weird object, mamas.
Well, I'm here to tell you that we're supposed to be getting a lot of Laura. And Laura is tearing up places, and the wind, you don't think it's a tree branch or anything.
Look at how low it's going. It's going low.
The interaction between Vincent and his mom is very peculiar in their way because they don't know what they're looking at. And this is kind of the sound that you hear from people that are looking at things that they don't understand. In my opinion, whatever Vincent and his mom are experiencing and looking at, there's some kind of mystery. And this is interesting to note that when we're looking at this side-by-side comparison, there seems to be an intelligence in the way this object is relating to its surroundings. Let's get back to Vincent and his mother. This is classic.
Those good binoculars is going. Did you put any honey?
Yeah, I did.
The one that I don't like?
Yeah, and that's really good.
Okay, you put some
Mom. This is not a balloon. It's got something glowing in the bottom of the damn object. I'm not kidding. That is not a balloon.
Well, you already established it's not a balloon, but what is it? It's still floating?
Yeah, mamas. It's going down now. It's going a bit upwards. Oh my goodness.
What is it, a UFO?
It has to be. It is.
Why don't push on the window, Fanny? Get off of that window.
Look at how it's going up, Mom.
You recording it?
Yes.
Okay.
Now stand still. It's really standing still right now.
Don't lean on the window, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just slowly drifting and it just looks like it's standing still. Whoa! It's definitely an object. It looked like it was shaped like a V, Ma. Oh my goodness.
I wonder if everybody else sees this object.
Oh my goodness, this is incredible. I'm trying my very best to get up. Damn.
So after looking at Vincent's video, this video came to mind via Jaime Maussan, an investigator from Carlos Clemente. In relation with Jaime's production, they stated that they've seen these kind of anomalies in the skies before, like these witches. They've gathered evidence through several countries of this exact kind of anomaly flying in the sky. These things, it's hard to tell exactly what they are at points. Some people might just dismiss them as typical commercial apparatus. But in my opinion, we're looking at something that is very strange. Look at this. They're saying that they can see eyes within this figure. And I'm sure what he captured in the Bronx is possibly the same thing that had this similarity with these monks. This is interesting to note as well. When I got some correspondence from Vincent over there in the Bronx, that he was saying that what he saw with his naked eye was way clearer and looking exactly, in my opinion, like this robed monk. There's analyzation that's going on with these spinning of this thing that moves slowly in the sky. It's very, very bizarre. You can see that a lot of people are experiencing these kind of things at a high rate. But the question is, what are these things? Are they drones? Are there some kind of secret program that's just hovering up there? Or is it something practical? In my opinion, these witch-like or humanoids that we see in the skies, we're going to be seeing them more and more. They're already working with this kind of technology, with this humanoid apparatus. Look at this thing. It's captured January 6th in Japan. Again, this really resembles more of these apparitions, these possible, I don't know, dare I say it, paranormal activity? Or, again, is this technology that we're looking at that could definitely get us people, humans, in the sky as this humanoid apparatus of technology that's going to be released to the public, in my opinion, very shortly. But look at this. As we're getting a closer look, you can see torsos and arms. It has this white robe on it. It's really cool. And look at the ranges between both the images and what you just saw from the Bronx, captured by Vincent and experienced by both Vincent and his mother. They didn't know what they're looking at. As well as this one, captured in July 8, 2000. There's people all over that are witnessing these humanoids, and they've been going on for years. So it's not new news that these humanoids exist, in my opinion, but it is new news when you're watching up-to-date information coming in from Third Phase of Moon as in regards to this sighting out of the Bronx, confirming that these humanoids, these things exist. And then these videos that are captured via these camcorders, these security cams, are capturing anomalies that we don't look at. Did you see this thing? Look how small it is. It's running at a very fast rate of speed, but as we're getting a closer look, I'm having a hard time to analyze and kind of comprehend what this is. It's obviously bipedal. Is it a little kid running? Brent, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, again, thank you, Jaime, for letting us share this with everybody right now. And look at that thing. It's booking. It's hard to tell, really. The video quality is rather poor, so there's a lot to the imagination, what you could fill in there. Again, it's kind of odd. And what we got coming up next is kind of something I'm more curious about. But then look at what's going on, these apparitions. And with different filters, it kind of brings in this new texture. It kind of seems ghostly, apparition in its own sense, but this one catches me. Look at this. Just the way it wobbles on in. Take a close look. This was captured in 2018, and notice the way this strange anomaly, the way it's just creeping along, kind of lends to something that I've never seen before. It has these strange qualities, Blake.
Well, we do have our work cut out for us, let's just say that, because this first one from Vincent and his mom in the Bronx, New York, are capturing something that has been seen throughout UFO history. People from Mexico call them the witches or the bruja. In America, we call them humanoids, as they do in Mexico, and all over the world, these things have been seen. Now, we can just get to the bottom of it all and just say it's balloons and be happy with that, right? Because a lot of people want to jump to that, but you can't. Not only you can't, you shouldn't. We just learned about this a few months ago in February. Around LAX, they were seeing humanoids flying around, right? On jetpacks. Humanoid objects, humanoid-looking devices, 3,000, 6,000 feet. Now, there's something else going on. I believe these beings aren't human, but they are humanoid-ish. And if there was technology of jetpack or any type of propulsion that can do this and stay in the air and get to 6,000 feet, other people who are in the jetpack community, because there's not a lot of them around the world, they would know if somebody new was making something that can go to 3,000 to 6,000 feet. I don't know what this is. To me, it may be a deflated balloon that's just caught in an updraft and a downdraft. It's very possible, but I don't know. I wasn't there. So it's whatever you want to take out of it. Now, I know Blake and Brent are going to give us a little bit of a history review here with these things seen all around the world, because it's not like this happens every day, but it happens in a lot of places. St. Petersburg in Russia, this image was recorded of this humanoid entity. It looked similar. They're even putting a face with a sort of cape over it, like it's not a witch, but maybe like a wizard type of being, you know? Now, it doesn't mean that it is a person, but with the telescope or the video camera that they're using here, they're seeing what they believe to be a robed humanoid entity of some sort. And they said in the upper part here, they can see a clear spot in the images. We can see similarity with monks. Now, I always say this, and I want to say it again. We believe there's UFOs. Yes, that's proven. We believe there are aliens. Yes, even without evidence, we believe there are aliens. Why? Because our governments claim, NASA claims, all around the world claims that they don't have technology to do this with individuals for long periods of time. So the thing is, it's been seen for thousands of years. There's paintings of these. You know, so what are they? And look at this one. This is the one back in February. I think this was the one at 6,000 feet. And that thing is moving very fast. The weird thing about these humanoids, and I don't think anybody mentioned it. Yes, we did see one from Russia earlier, but the majority of these sightings are seen in the southwest region of North America and the United States, like in Mexico, right? That's North America. In Arizona, California, they've seen them and recorded them. And also in Canada, they've seen these up in the western part of Canada. What's so special about that part of the world? Well, there's strong ley lines in that area. There's a lot of pyramids built up along these ley lines. So I think it may have to do with something. Maybe it's opening up a portal, or maybe it's two dimensions that we're seeing both of them at the same time. And there's all different shapes and sizes too. Generally, you get this shape here. That's kind of what mine looks like, except mine didn't wobble like this one. Some of them look like they're hunched over like a witch on a broom. Some of them look like globs with arms and short legs. And we'll see that one here, I think, again, but that's it. Well, and then we've got these security cam, doorbell cams, seeing these ghostly figures running across the street. Now, I think with these doorbell cams, at least ones that look like this is from the frame rate of the camera. Most, cameras that you see are 30 frames a second generally, right? But this may be at 15 frames or 20 frames a second. I think it's probably 10. It's hard to tell. But I think with the low frame rate, the low light, the camera itself, I think we're just seeing a kid running down the street, but part of his body looks like it's chopped off. And the head's gone. I don't know, man. It's probably because it's the smallest part. But then we do have, over the years, the Fresno walkers. And the Fresno walkers, here we go. This reminds me of the Fresno walkers. See in the top left, remember those? I'll put another picture in the top right. But watch this. It looks like it's going on top of water. See the top right? That's what the originals look like. Amazing stuff happening all around the world at all times. So we're going to go and to another story here. So hang on tight. Stay buckled in, everybody. This one's going to knock your socks off.
All right, we've got a video going around on the internet. It's basically kind of going viral. People are saying that there are two cylindrical objects zooming across above the North Pole. Take a look at this video. Here we go. Here are the two objects in question. What are we looking at? Some people are saying this is some kind of extraterrestrial craft basically hovering in the skies. We're actually zooming across the skies above the North Pole. Wow, this is interesting, Brett.
Yeah, look at that close-up. People might say this looks straight out of the monolith from 2001.
And then again, NASA seems like they're cutting the feed. No doubt about it. Let's get a closer look, slow things down. And what are we looking at? Again, we're putting out some fillers as we speak, putting in some investigative fillers, and we're going to try and find out exactly what's going on here. This is interesting footage. Apparently, this was captured by a YouTube channel released a few years ago. So here we go. We got some information. This isn't that new at all. Actually, this has been circulating the internet for a few years, and now some people are trying to submit this as brand new footage, but apparently it's not. But again, here's the photograph or a still from the video image itself, and definitely it looks strange. We have some kind of circular glass in the middle of this square box formation. Okay, we got some of these photos coming in. Brent's feeding these as we come in. Apparently this is some information that we're getting. The GRACE experiment, basically an American-German gravity recovery and climate experiment launched in March 2002. The twin GRACE satellites have been spending about 15 years using the Earth's gravitational field as a tool to gain insight into the movements of water. Okay, now things are getting to be a little bit more clear.
Check this out, Blake. I'm throwing this in right now. This is a video that's basically going to blow the lid off what we just saw earlier. Take a look.
Okay, here we go. We have a new video coming in. Or is this some kind of animation that we're looking at? This is new video that we have just obtained. This seems like the original video.
Yeah, Blake, you could clearly see it's CGI. The way that camera pulled in on Earth and the wraparound of Earth it's total CGI. There's no way this camera shot could have been pulled off. What we're seeing is full on NASA CGI, basically doing a representation of their GRACE experiment twin satellites.
Yes, again, look at how the camera zooms in. No craft in our assets could actually pull this camera shot off. It's absolutely impossible. This is definitely CGI in my opinion. I think we just solved the mystery of what's going on here.
Yeah, and basically you could clearly see once we get in close on this CGI representation, it is a GRACE project. The earlier video, you couldn't really make out what it was, but clearly you could see that this is it.
All right. So not all is lost. We did learn something, that these are two water surveying satellites. I guess they check the movements of water on Earth. These two gravity-propelled satellites, I guess. Well, that's good. I'm glad we learned a little bit of something. See? So I guess half of this video is CGI and the other half isn't. So the first half of the things we see here are the actual ISS camera, and then they show a depiction of what it is through CGI. Got it, right? That's what it is, I think. So coming up next is an interview you may or may not have seen. But if you were around 6 months ago, you might have seen it. But I just happen to enjoy this interview. So take a listen and you'll see why. Dr. Greer, do you think there's any chance that the current administration might disclose before transitioning to the new administration?
The question about whether any administration will disclose this subject is something that I wouldn't wager on. However, as you may have heard today, there's a very senior team that are working with me from the White House. What I have been told is their intention is to disclose all this information prior to January 20th. That's the possible good news. I'll believe it when I see it. It should happen. The bad news is that the intelligence community has been in the White House for 3 or 4 years and providing blatantly false information, disinformation, to the president and vice president, and they have concluded that it is a threat to the national security. And so a disclosure of that type would be 1,000 times worse than the secrecy. So, as most of you know, in 1999, after having dealt with the Clinton administration and the CIA director for Bill Clinton, I concluded that the folks who were really in charge of keeping these things secret only want it disclosed within the context of it being an alien threat, which of course we know that that's been the narrative. That's 99% of the UFO subject, 99% of Hollywood, 99% of the History Channel, documentaries, 90+%. So that, of course, is worse than it being kept secret. Because why? That would create a global panic, 1,000 times worse than COVID, to galvanize support around a totalitarian military initiative to counter the presence of ETs. So the good news is the administration absolutely knows the UFOs are real. I know this from people who are in the administration who talk to Trump and Pence directly, daily. They, however, are, been totally misguided, like Marco Rubio, the Senator Rubio, the Senate Intelligence Committee, into thinking that they are a national security threat. And of course, that's the narrative that you see on CNN, the Washington Post, the New York Times, all the stuff coming out from all the disinformation agents that have penetrated the media and sort of hoodwinked the TTSA group, most of whom are counterintelligence experts from the Pentagon. Counterintelligence means, controlling and putting out disinformation and false narratives. So in this case, the administration is absolutely favorably disposed to disclosing. They are convinced it's real. And I have been working since August, I'll say this now, directly with people very high in the administration, providing them with an alternative perspective. So whether anything happens in the next 2 months, we got exactly 2 months before noon on January 20th. Now, on the other end of it, since President-elect Biden won the election, then we have people on my team, one of whom grew up with Mr. Biden, that we're providing briefing materials to them to try to get them on the page of not only disclosing the subject, but also doing it in a way that's hopeful, positive, forward-looking and not warmongering.
Yeah.
But that's also a very heavy lift, because I provided a briefing to Senator Joe Biden when he was chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and at that time he was very much not favorably disposed to bringing this information out at all. So all I can say is it ain't over till it's over, and we are working very hard. I've been working 20 hours a day virtually since August, doing things with President Putin in Russia, getting information to him through people on my team who have direct access to the president, to the vice president, and now Biden. What happens is anyone's guess. All we can really do is provide advice and information, alternative information from what the foxes guarding the hen house that come in from the CIA or the Pentagon, who brief these sort of people. They're obviously going to tell the party line, because their job is to increase military intelligence and all that spending, which enriches, guess what, the military-industrial complex. So the question is how that's actually going to all play out, and all I can tell you is I don't know. Well, I'm hopeful, and people should be hoping and praying that it turns out well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Next question then. So why does the dark secret government have a problem with your CE5 protocol initiative?
Well, I know classified projects do not want people to be empowered to make contact bypassing the superstate, let's call it. So what's more empowering than people, what I've said years ago was, okay, bye-bye. In the 90s, I tried to get the Congress and the president back then to do something. We had already started the CE5 contact program and had successful contact happen, which was well documented, that the intelligence community knew about. What they didn't like was the fact that it was out of their control. Because remember, these are control freaks writ large. And so since it was out of their control, they didn't want this to happen, to get out there. And what, the head of Army Intelligence, General Albert Stubblebine III, Bert told me, and some NSA and CIA people pulled me aside in 1992 and said, look, we understand that consciousness and thought and the protocols that you're teaching people is the Rosetta Stone. It absolutely is the Rosetta Stone for contact. They all know this. But if enough people do it, then they can't control it and suppress it. And of course, obviously, they can sort of make problems for me personally or a team that I'm with. But if there are millions of people doing this, then it's game over. Yeah. Which is why we did this film, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And with it, as important as the film, I feel more important is the CE5 Contact app, because that's an entire training program in an app but you can get now. It's on the stores for Google and Android and iPhones. So I sort of feel like that's really what we need to be focusing on. It's not that I'm not focused on what might happen at the White House or Congress, what have you. We very much are. But I think that the real action is in the hands of we the people. It's in the hands of the populace. But the populace has to be educated and informed and take action. If they just sit and do nothing, you can see what sitting doing nothing has gotten us in 60 years of secrecy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Do you think the U.S. government has in its possession any off-world vehicles? If so, where do they get it from?
We know for a fact that they have multiple vehicles from other star systems. Absolutely. Yes, and that's begun to leak out. Out here in Fort Huachuca in Arizona, near Tombstone, there's a UGB, an underground base, where back years ago, a man who worked in that facility said we have 9 different extraterrestrial vehicles there, and a storage area with all the dissected bodies, ET bodies. So yes, absolutely they do. They've been studying them, of course, since the 40s or before. A little bombshell I'll share with you. I received very recently a photograph that fell out of some belongings of a woman who had been at the atomic bomb site in 1945 and then was transferred to Roswell. but it's a photograph of an ET being dissected on a table from the 1920s. So this goes back, when I talk about the lost century, that there's a century of knowledge, technology, information that is just poof, gone, into the black hole of Calcutta, the black pit of secrecy. That is really true. And I was astounded. We had the top experts in the world for medical equipment and clothing look at this. And they said it's absolutely from the 20s, between 1922 and 29. And it's an ET on a slab being autopsied and dissected. So that we have just acquired. The family that has shared it with me has allowed me to put it in the briefing for the president and the president-elect. They have not cleared me to release it publicly, and I honor my word. So hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to convince them to let us put that out.
Okay. What would you like to have people take away after watching Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind?
I think the big takeaway from Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is now on Amazon globally, so is unacknowledged. But this documentary, I did it very quickly, and a lot of people don't know why. Because I had back channels coming out of the administration, the Trump administration, as well as the Congress saying, this is on a fast track to have this issue disclosed as a national security threat and as a world threat. Just exactly what Wernher von Braun warned about in the 70s before he died. So I said, you know what? We've got to get this message out to millions of people who will take the matter into the hands of the people who are awake, conscious, enlightened, loving, good, regular people. Most people are not sociopathic murderers, all right? Most people are good people, but those good people can't do nothing. So this movie is really a call to action. And the big takeaway is 30 years of making contact. I've headed up, this is the 30th anniversary right now of the CE5 Contact Initiative. We've never been harmed. We've never been scared. We've never had anything terrible happen. We've had people have amazing healings with the ETs there, which are in the film, you'll see it. But, so I tell people, we have to get out of our fear mind and get into our higher consciousness and heart and love state and be, in lieu of the government doing anything smart, we have to be the ambassadors from Earth to these civilizations visiting. And what's interesting is that that's what they're waiting for. Everyone says, what are they waiting for? Why don't they come? Why don't they land at the White House? And Larry King asked me that in the 90s. I said, they're waiting for an appropriate response that's not militarized and violent from humans. So I can tell everyone listening and everyone listening here, this is really ball in your court. For whether or not the White House, whether or not the Congress or the Kremlin or anyone else says anything about this, it'd be great if they would, and it would be something positive. But if they don't, guess what? We're not powerless. So this film is really a message of empowerment of we the people. Al Jeffersonian, my farm in Virginia is right down the road from Thomas Jefferson's house. We the people have it in our power to make contact, to establish relationships, and if we need to, bypass the governments. So that's what that is. It's sort of a citizens diplomacy call to action. And the CE5 Contact app is the manual of how to do it, how to form a team. And also what's cool about the app, just so people know, when you get on there, you can see who is in your area that wants to do CE5 and form a team. So you don't have to be alone. We didn't have that until it came out in April. So now people can connect and network with people in their area and go out and do these contact protocols so they're not by themselves. So that's a very nice feature for people to network with.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Bigger resource. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Much. That was at the Scottsdale CE5 event in November of 2020 with Greer and a strange atmosphere because of the situation the world's in. But we still got more to go. This next two sightings are rather interesting, so let's take the wormhole there and check this one out. Whoa, buckle in, buckle up.
Wow,
Now, let's get to the next one right now. Coming in from Puerto Rico. This is insane. Look at this. A flying disc crashing into the ocean there. Look at this. We're slowing it down. All right, now we've seen the video coming in from Puerto Rico. We want to get your opinions, people. Is this some kind of a hoax, or is this a crash by a flying disc? Brent, what do you make of this?
Blake, I see some sort of ship over there on the horizon. Could this be some sort of military exercise? The splash really looks authentic, but there's some sort of shudder happening between this UFO effect. Blake, this could possibly be After Effects.
We get a lot of videos from around the world, and Facebook is flooded with these kind of fantastic videos coming every single day. Wow. You know, this is coming in. We want to share it. Now, let's get to the next video, and we'll see what happens next. Now, here's a video that hasn't been making much of the rounds on the internet, and I find it quite extraordinary. Could it be some kind of craft from Area 51? This is a flying disc, in my opinion, and if you look closely, there's something ejecting from the craft. This metallic disc there it is. Wow. Look at this. We're going to zoom up, get a close look. Look at this. It seems like it's dropping something off there, right?
Wow, that was pretty weird. You see it, it's extruding out of the bottom there, and it just pops out. It looks like it's almost giving birth to a mini UFO. This is some of the strangest, most unique footage I've ever seen. Could it be an effect? I'm not sure. It's something to share right here at Third Phase.
Now look what happened in Brazil. Shortly after the footage that was captured, now we see this exact same metallic orbish ball that we can't explain. Could this be the exact same thing that this metallic craft just unleashed or dropped off over Brazil? That's quite amazing. Let's look at this again and see if it resembles the exact same thing that landed in Brazil. It's dropping off some kind of drone. And what landed in the village in Brazil is a big question.
Blake, it's been exciting this week right here at Third Phase Moon. People wanted to see UFOs, man. We just delivered a good handful from the Omega Universe UFOs, and they're doing a good job.
Now look at the people on the ground. They retrieve this thing. I hope it's not radioactive. I hope it's safe. It could be a satellite that fell out of the sky. Some people might say this, but wow, what is going on?
A UFO crashing into the water is unbelievable, because that's exactly what it looks like. It's a disc. Is it not? Yes. Is it CGI? Wow. Is it? Because I know this is a few years old, but if this is CGI, that's really good CGI. There's not too many places I can go with this one, except take a look at it with you kind folks. See what you think, because there are some aspects of this that look legit, but right there, when it hits the water, it doesn't look Water's the hardest thing, and skin, I believe, are the two hardest things to do in CGI perfectly, especially the eyes on a person. But this, to me, man, I hate to be that guy, but geez, I never heard anything about this thing even when it came out. And if I did, I probably dismissed it, thinking it's too good to be true. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. But this one, this is also falling in that category. These are the submissions from people all around the world that send stuff into Third Phase of Moon. These are from the archives, for those of you asking. And if you can, please like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, it's really cool to help the algorithm and just get more people coming over here. You know, Third Phase of Moon is a breaking news UFO channel. And when they do something like that and break a story or have information that was just handed to them or emailed, they want to put it up as quickly as possible to try to get answers. It's not about the views, it's not about anything else, it's just about getting it up and out. Look at the reflection of the sun on this thing. This would have been hard to fake, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I guess they retrieved it. That looks like I don't know, man. It looks like a paper, well, it looks metallic, paper mache. I know it's probably, yeah, it's shiny, it's reflecting light. That is so bizarre. We need to get updates on this stuff, right? We try to get the updates. That's why we post this stuff. But very interesting. Man. Look at this. And then it comes out of the bottom like it's just laying an egg. It's like, you know, and it just plops out of it. There it goes. Right out the bottom port. And it's out. And that one frame where it's reflecting the sun, there it comes again. It looks like it really is coming out of that thing. Like, this isn't fake. This is why I like this job. This hobby, whatever I want to call it. As frustrating as it is to be in this field with all the stuff we see, especially in the last week, it's nice to look back to see where everything has come from, you know? And Third Phase of Moon has always been the channel that brought stuff out first and put it up in a professional manner. And, you know, we're just trying to still find answers to these things. That's what you're supposed to do. You just don't stop. So we repost this stuff, look at it again, and maybe somebody has an answer this time around. All right. Well, still have questions, you? Put your comments in the chat and in the comment section underneath the video. Next!
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime. And I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft.
The technologies related to energy generation should come out first.
This hybrid aerospace underwater craft is able to basically generate an electromagnetic field.
It is President Trump's belief that the United States must remain as dominant in space as we are on land and sea and the air. And your charge is to see to that mission with the United States Space Force.
You know, there were 3 people on my team assassinated, and I was almost killed.
With a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
It's a matter of national security.
But apparently, just recovered are off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
The president will respond to the subject the way they want them to. There's a black box with all the technologies that would give us a civilization that's sustainable, peaceful, etc., and that's been around for decades.
Everybody's asking the biggest question in the world. Are we alone?
Look, it's holding, it's just stalled out there.
The narrative that's being launched, which is a false narrative, is that we're not alone and that those civilizations are a threat. The problem is that the public has to be informed and involved.
It could be a brief statement saying, hallelujah, I'm finally vindicated.
I'm not completely convinced they're gonna let this stay like it is.
But the people who are surrounding that level of our politicians and government are not told. Like the movie Independence Day, where Will say, let's go kick alien butt.
Thank you everybody for hanging out. I am Rich Giordano for Third Phase UFO Report. You can find me on GUFON 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on YouTube. And thank you, Third Phase of Moon, for the archives and the new. We appreciate you. So we'll see you next time, guys. We're heading out over the digital city, out into oblivion that we call the universe. Over the digital highway we go. Until next time, if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out for ufology. Good night, everybody.